Omar Berrada has spoken, and he gave interview to the press, basically to United We Stand, United fanzine, and basically had a conversation with Andy Meeting, and basically just gave us a sneak peek into what the plans are and all of that. We're going to just break it down. And obviously, Manchester United CEO came in last year, and he's saying us suffer, basically. And then, Andy Meeting released the article. And with all of these things, you can see that Manchester United fans are not patient, because the highlight of the whole article was, one of the highlights anyway, the whole article is that we're going to win the Premier League by 2028. I believe we're going to win the Premier League earlier than that, but the target is 2028, and there's no harm in setting a target. What I've seen basically from fans is, in some of the comments on X, if you just quickly check X, you would see that the fans are not going to be patient. They don't want to be patient to wait that long, basically, to say, oh, we want to wait to win the Premier League. One of the comments said, is 2028. Who's going to wait that long? I believe in the vision, but do we have the patience? And that is the same thing. Like, that can be said about almost all the fans, basically, that we can't wait that long for 2028 to be able to win the Premier League. Well, it is what it is. The truth is, patience is a virtue, and it's key in getting Man United to the glory days, right? Now, one of the highlights of the article, we're going to break down every step of the way. One of the highlights of the article is with regards to backing Amorim. Another one is the optimism behind, the optimism from, basically what Rúben Amorim has said at the end of the season. And then there is also the 2028 vision, as I said before, and then the transfer strategy, and then basically the accountability, as well as, the apology he gave, and basically his calm vision and calculated football savvy history. But we're going to kind of break it down step by step. First and foremost, Omar Berrada talked about backing Amorim. He strongly kind of defended United's mid-season appointment of Rúben Amorim, framing it as a foundational decision for the future, not a quick fix for short-term results. He says, we saw it as an investment for the following seasons, right? We're going to give time to Rúben to get to know the squad, the club, and the Premier League. Now, while admitting the challenges of Amorim's turbulent first few months, where United endure one of the worst Premier League seasons in decades, Berrada emphasized the value of that suffering. Now, he said he's suffered in the Premier League and the team has suffered. And that's why I feel that it's really going to help us in the future. Now, he even drew a bold parallel to Pep Guardiola's rocky start at Man City. Very much so, Pep stuck to his principles. The club backed him that summer. The team started winning and created this winning cycle. And for a person who had worked at Barcelona, winning squads, basically, Barcelona, he had worked at, and we're going to see a few details pretty much later. He's worked at Barcelona, he has now worked at Man City, and now he is an economics professor working at Manchester United as the CEO, right? This shows that Berrada is not looking for instant results. Instead, he believes that Amorim's early adversity will lay the groundwork for a revival, provided the club stays the course. That's one thing fans need to understand. The patience is key. We're going to suffer, but the dream, the vision is right in front of us, right? Now, the next part the next highlight of that interview was with regards to the post-turmoil optimism, which is like stating that the worst is behind us. He acknowledged the chaos and the disillusionment of last season, 18 league losses, fan unrest, internal layoffs. Berrada remains surprisingly upbeat. He says, we've taken all the short-term pain in this season, but as of this summer, the worst bit is going to be behind us. Now, the optimism is rooted in the restructuring of United's leadership and a new clarity of direction under INEOS. It is very important that we understand that, right? Now, the management and the coaching staff are now aligned, and there is a defined recruitment and playing philosophy. And Omar Berrada said that there is a clear idea of what we want to do. We want to build something that is sustainable for the long term, and still he's not blind to the risks. Omar Berrada is not blind to the risks. He said we need to get a lot of decisions right, and we will still make mistakes. There's no doubt, but we will try to minimize those. The mistakes, right? Now, that is one thing Man United fans need to kind of understand with these things that Omar Berrada says and all of that. In truth, if he's not a football person with experience managing the club, it will be difficult to kind of believe what he has to say. But he's a football person managing the club, saying football things, saying things that someone who has a plan and a vision is saying, right, or supposed to say. And then the third part of that interview was around the vision for 2028. That is the Project 150. Perhaps the most concrete articulation of his long-term goals is the Project 150, a strategic plan timed with the club's 150th anniversary. Now, he says this is basically on the question of whether Man United is going to win Premier League. He says, I firmly believe that we can do it. We have 2 or 3 summer windows to build a team to start competing to win the Premier League. The ambition to win the Premier League by 2028 might seem very far-fetched after, a 15th place finish. It's far. Everybody's saying it. And the wonderful Simon Jordan has said it, but he said one thing. He said, Manchester United will rise back to glory quicker than most clubs. But Berrada basically draws personal experience despite the 15th place finish in the Premier League. He says, or he referenced his Barcelona resurgence from mediocrity in 2004 to Champions League winners in 2006, a turnaround he witnessed firsthand. Say, why not aim for it? That's what he said. Why not do everything in our power? Now, this goal sets a clear target that the fans and staff can rally behind, even if the timeline is ambitious. I believe that the timeline is not ambitious. The timeline is for real. Like, it's genuine. This was a timeline that was set mid last season, right? Now, with regards to transfers and transfer strategies, Omar Berrada has said basically that the transfer strategy is strategic, but not spectacular, right? So while the summer window is ongoing, Berrada promised an active approach, though he tempered expectations around big spending. Most definitely, that's what we should expect. We will need to have some player exits to balance the books. Certainly. He also praised new signing Matheus Cunha effusively. Now, he says, he's got a bit of a swagger about him. I dare say, Cantona-esque. That's what he said. That was a catch from that one. The comparison wasn't just about style. It was a nod to the kind of charisma and the attacking inspiration the club has lacked. But Berrada also acknowledged that transfers take time. He says sometimes you are not quick. It's because you are negotiating and trying to make sure you get the right value for money. And this aligns with INEOS's more analytical, value-driven approach to recruitment. And that's why when we see how things are a little bit slow with Man United and dealing with transfers, you can tend to get the idea of what they're trying to achieve and all of that. There is not enough money to spend, but there is money to get the right players. And then with regards to accountability and apologies, he acknowledged that there were mistakes. Basically, he didn't shy away from the public relations disasters of the past season, especially the layoffs and the ticketing controversy, right? He says we didn't foresee that the finances of the club were in such a bad state. So they had to make a decision that they would stand by, right? He admitted to mishandling the 66 £66 concession ticket policy and took personal responsibility. He said, that the way it was rolled out was not good. I raise my hand. I'm responsible for that decision. But beyond apologies, he emphasized a shift in approach. He says, we've had the same robust conversations with the fan advisory board, and they pushed back on a lot of the ideas. But this hints, basically, from what he said, this hints at a collaborative, more collaborative and less tone-deaf leadership model going forward. I mean, considering what we've had in the past with regards to, the leadership of the team, leadership of the club, and how the Glazers have been silent for years, not talking to the fans, not having anything like a fan advisory board. It's very good to hear that Omar Berrada is basically looking to collaborate with the fans and listen to the fans' voice, as well as INEOS as well, right? And then obviously, and the meeting gave kind of like a mini profile for Omar Berrada and the idea behind Amorim's plan or style of play. And I'll tag this: the man behind the vision, calm, calculated, and football savvy. Now, Berrada's background, spanning academia, economics, UNICEF, and global football, gives him a well-rounded perspective. He's multilingual, worldly, and analytical, but also steeped in the culture of football. Johan Cruyff played with 3-4-3. This was what Omar Berrada said. Johan Cruyff played with 3-4-3, and nobody said it was defensive. It's about identity, not formation. This line reflects his understanding that football is more than systems. It's about clarity of purpose and consistent identity. He wants attacking, exciting football, but won't obsess over shapes. He also emphasized his strong working relationships with co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe. With him, this is what Omar Berrada said, you know exactly what you're getting. That kind of alignment will be essential for a structural rebuild United is undergoing right now. Now, to sum this all up, Omar Berrada's interview was an interview that showed that he's a CEO with clarity, with candor, and with caution. Now, Omar Berrada, his interview paints a picture of a CEO who is calm amid the chaos. He understands both the scale of the club's problems and the size of its potential. Key word from this is that they did not know that Manchester United was in such a financial mess when they got in, and that is why they had to make so many rash decisions, and that's why they even had to apologize with regards to the staff layoffs and all the things that went on in that time. And truth is, we as fans, we feel sorry for the staff. These guys put their blood, sweat, and tears to work for a club like Manchester United, only to be laid off after putting in so much. But it is what it is. And one thing I said in one of our videos is the fact that, despite the fact that there's layoffs, there will be rehiring in the future when the club starts to make money. But like I said, Omar Berrada's interview paints a picture of a CEO who is calm amid the chaos. Now, he understands the scale of the problem that the club is facing and the size of its potential. While he speaks in measured tones, his vision is bold. He doesn't offer miracles, but a path. He's candid about mistakes, clear about the roadmap, and confident in the people around him, especially Amorim and Wilcox. Right? If Manchester United are to rise again, this kind of steady, intelligent leadership might just be the foundation that it requires. It's not like the past leaders, the past CEOs who are not like football, who have not been in football for a long time, and their first experience is managing a club like Manchester United, and they're making financial decisions like Ed Woodward and the rest, making financial decisions when they should be making basically football decisions, right? So it is very key for us as Man United fans to basically understand the vision and understand what the aim of the club is, right? What the aim of the club is. So if we're taking a cue from that and we're building it, Rúben Amorim understands what the foundations, what foundation it requires, right, to build a club or rebuild the club. And he says we want to build something that is sustainable for a long, long time, right? Time will tell if Berrada can turn the vision into silverware. And yeah, it is what it is. We have to just accept what it is and move on. And we have to just take his word for it and build from it, right? We as Man United fans, we seem to always lack the patience, you know, to watch the club rebuild. Times have come when we've changed managers, and times have come when we've kind of like moved from one system to another. But it is very key that we hold on to what we have and build from there. So let me know your thoughts and feelings about what Omar Berrada has said about the club, about rebuilding, about the strategy. And it's good to hear that there is a plan. There's something in the works to build the club around. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye, and God bless.